Hi, Jack. It's so nice to meet you. I love WandaVision. It's one of my favorite Disney Channel series.
Thank you. That's very nice to hear. Thank you.
At what point while you were making WandaVision did you realize that you wanted to do a series about Agatha?
It was actually well after WandaVision had aired. I mean, the sort of success of WandaVision was a surprise to, I think, all of us, or
Oh,
maybe not Marvel, but to me. And I was invited back to Marvel to develop a show, and so we were sort of looking at that corner of the MCU sandbox, the sort of WandaVision character set, and that space. And yeah, I was like looking at different things, and we had lots of discussions, and everything involved Agatha. And at a certain point, Kevin was like, probably it should be an Agatha show, and I was delighted at that.
in the past few years, we've seen a number of movies and series that have villains as the protagonists. Why do you think that villains are so popular right now?
I sort of feel like it's not that new. I mean, there was sort of there was like House and Nurse Jackie. There was Dexter, and there's been for a couple decades now, Sopranos, a focus on morally ambiguous protagonists. And I think what appeals to people, it's kind of bewitching to see someone so flawed be centered. And so rather than kind of, seeing a true blue hero then show flaws, to sort of start with the flaws and then see the vulnerability underneath. I mean, Succession is one of my favorite shows, and it's because just when you've written a character off, they will give you a peek into their psyche that will sort of trigger your empathy, and then you're sucked back in. And so it was a total delight to work with the Agatha character and try and find those cracks and sort of fissures into the truth of who she is and how she feels.
I love stories about and shows about witches. I always have. And there's so much information about witches in this series that I'd never heard of. Does that come from the comic books?
No, actually, it's from our research. We, in the writers' room, we did a real deep dive on witch culture and witch lore and witch history, and it's kind of a grab bag. There are things that are things that we learned from actual modern witches or from texts. There are pieces that we made up entirely whole cloth as part of our, MCU witch lore. And then there's stuff that's just, pulled from the collective understanding of like a classic witch in Western culture.
Tell me about putting together the cast around Agatha. How difficult was it? Because I was talking to Joe, and he said it was a 2-year process from the time that he auditioned to the time that he was cast.
Yeah, it was hard casting, and we nailed it.
Yes.
We succeeded with flying colors, mostly because these incredible people were willing to join us on this adventure. It was challenging. We had crafted these characters and done a lot of rigorous work to have each character, feel fully realized, and then yeah, to find the appropriate performer to step in with every single one of them. It was like, just, we were amazingly fortunate.
What are the hopes for Agatha? Do you think that you'll be able to use her in future series?
I mean, I can't speak to anything in a concrete way because that is the nature of the cone of silence of the MCU. But as a fan, I hope very much to see her again.
As do I. Thank you so much for chatting with me today. It's been such a pleasure.
Oh, me too. Thank you so much.
Thanks for watching. If you liked this video, please hit the like and subscribe buttons, as well as the notification bell in the top right-hand corner if you'd like to see more of my celebrity interviews. Got a lot more lined up, so make sure you don't miss out on them.